In the bustling town of Suju, the month of October was filled with enchanting festivals every year. Special circuses were set up, colorful candies were distributed, and magicians competed among themselves to entertain the children. The children eagerly awaited the arrival of October throughout the year. Among these impatient children was a little boy, who, compared to his peers, was a bit short, slender, and had golden hair falling into his eyes. When festival time arrived, the little boy woke up earlier than everyone else, put the knowledge book his brother gave him in his backpack, and quietly waited for the others in the house to wake up. Just like the previous year, this year, he would go to the festival with his grandfather. After a short walk, they arrived at the festival grounds. Children riding on giant flying turtles, jewelers who produced magical stones of any color by touching the pebbles in front of them, puppeteers playing with giant teddy bears using magical wands, and much more. What they saw at the festival grounds was incredible. As the little boy heard the lively, joy-filled sounds coming from the festival, he eagerly held his grandfather's hand tighter and showed him every new thing he saw. However, the old man couldn't answer every question the little boy had, even though he wanted to. All these new entertainments were very different to him in his own time. That's precisely why, long before the festival, the little boy's brother had lent him the knowledge book. Whenever the boy sought an answer, the pages of the knowledge book provided information that addressed the question. After spending some time at the festival playing games, the little boy and his grandfather stopped in front of a cauliflower vendor to have a meal. Just then, they were startled by the shout of a burly man in an apron, and everyone's eyes turned in that direction. The burly man threw the scrawny owl he was holding in his hand towards the crowd and continued to shout, "You're just an expense to me. Do you know how much I paid for this ointment? If this didn't work, there's no hope for your recovery. You can't be among us anymore. Otherwise, you'll make others sick too." Among the magnificent, fluffy owls with splendid feathers, this owl with its feathers looking reddish, as if shaved, stood out at first glance. The little boy, as soon as he saw what was happening, jumped up and headed towards the owl, taking it in his hands. First, he sought permission from his grandfather, then he took out the knowledge book from his bag because he wanted to learn how to heal the owl. Flipping through a few pages, he found and started reading what he needed to do to save the owl. Excitedly, he turned to the burly man and asked, "Can I try applying the ointment too?" The burly man, with an indifferent attitude, first looked at the expensive ointment in his hand, then at the child. He took another, much cheaper ointment and tossed it to the child. "Here," he said, "both the owl and this ointment are yours. I can't spend more on this bird. I need to prepare for the show." The little boy set the book aside and quietly said to the owl, "You are a beautiful bird." Taking a little ointment from the man's lap with his small fingers, the little boy began to apply it to the owl, gently, as if stroking. The scrawny owl, who had been keeping its head down since its owner expelled it from the group, was surprised and captivated by the genuine interest and love it received. It couldn't take its large, open eyes off the child. While the little boy continued to apply the ointment, speak kind words, and pet the owl, the bird was in awe of this sincere approach and care. In response, the owl gently tilted its head to the side, showing the wound underneath. The child, with a heavy heart, took more ointment and covered the entire wound with gentle touches. To the owl, he said, "I know you will heal, you are stronger than you think." After these words, the owl pulled its wings over its head and began to stir where it was. In a few seconds, the wounds glowed and closed, and shiny feathers grew back in the bare areas. The sick and faded feathers of the bird, shaken in the child's palm, fell off. Then, its naked skin was covered with magnificent, fluffy, and colorful feathers, just like the other owls. As the owl flapped its wings, it soared into the sky, drawing circles above the little boy, showering him with magical stars and sparkles from its wings, and smiling at him. With the other owls joining their healed friend, all the owls began to fly enthusiastically around the little boy, showcasing their performances. As the owls finished their performances and departed, the little boy noticed a beautiful feather on the ground. He decided to place this feather between the pages of his knowledge book as a keepsake to cherish throughout his life.